What happens if you ignore a court notice? Maybe it came in the mail, maybe someone handed it to you, maybe it was taped to your door. You open it, see the word, court, feel your stomach drop, and then you put it in a drawer. Or throw it away. Or tell yourself, if I don't respond, maybe it will just go away. It won't. In fact, ignoring a court notice is one of the most expensive and damaging mistakes people make, and thousands of people make it every single week. I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you ignore a court notice, how bad it can get, and the simple steps you should take instead so you don't lose by default. Stay with me until the end. This could save you thousands of dollars, protect your paycheck, and keep serious problems from getting worse. Today's question is one of the most common and most dangerous mistakes people make. This is general educational information, not legal advice. Laws vary by state and situation. Always check the rules where you live or speak with a qualified attorney. Let's get into it. What is a court notice? First, let's clarify what we're talking about. A court notice can mean several different things: a summons and complaint, you're being sued; a notice of hearing, an eviction notice that has gone to court; a subpoena, a citation that requires you to appear; papers in a family law case; child support, custody, divorce; or even a notice that a judgment has already been entered against you. The most common one people ignore is the summons and complaint, the official papers that start a lawsuit. When you receive those papers, the clock starts ticking. You usually have a limited number of days, often 20 to 30, depending on your state and how you were served, to file a formal response with the court. If you do nothing, the other side can ask the court for a default judgment. That single phrase, default judgment, is where most of the damage begins. The big myth. Here's the myth a lot of people believe: if I ignore it, nothing will happen. They can't do anything if I don't show up. That is completely false. In most civil cases, the court does not need you to show up in order to rule against you. If you don't respond, the other side can win automatically. The judge may never hear your side of the story at all. Ignoring the notice doesn't make the case disappear. It usually makes you lose by default. What happens after you ignore it? Let's walk through what typically happens step by step. Step 1. The deadline passes. You were given a specific number of days to respond. Once that deadline passes and you haven't filed an answer or other response, the plaintiff, the person suing you, can file a request for default. Step 2. Default is entered. The court enters a default against you. This means the court is treating the case as if you have chosen not to defend yourself. Step 3. Default judgment. The other side can then ask for a default judgment. In many cases, especially debt collection lawsuits, the judge may award them everything they asked for the full amount of the debt, interest, court costs, and sometimes attorney's fees without you ever getting the chance to argue. Once that judgment is entered, it becomes a powerful legal tool against you. What can they do with a judgment? Wage garnishment: they can take money directly out of your paycheck. Bank account levy: they can freeze and take money from your bank account. Property lien: they can put a lien on your house or other property, which can affect your ability to sell or refinance. Credit damage: the judgment can appear on your credit report and hurt your score for years. Driver's license suspension, in some states and certain types of cases, especially unpaid judgments related to car accidents. In short, once they have a judgment, collecting becomes much easier for them and much harder for you. Different types of cases. Different risks. Not every court notice carries the same consequences. Let's look at the most common situations. 1. Debt collection lawsuits. This is the most common. Credit cards, medical bills, personal loans, old accounts. Ignore the summons, default judgment, wage garnishment, or bank levy. Many people only find out when their paycheck suddenly shrinks or their account is frozen. 2. Eviction/landlord-tenant cases. If you ignore an eviction lawsuit, the landlord can get a default judgment for possession. That means the sheriff can eventually remove you from the property. Ignoring it does not stop the eviction, it usually speeds it up. 3. Family law cases, child support, custody, divorce. Ignoring papers in a family case can be especially serious. The court can make orders about custody, visitation, child support, or property division without your input. In child support cases, ignoring notices can eventually lead to enforcement actions, including license suspension or even contempt. 4. Criminal cases or cases that can lead to a warrant. This is critical. Some notices are not just civil. If you receive a summons to appear in a criminal case, or certain types of citations, ignoring it can result in a bench warrant for your arrest. The next time you get pulled over, you could be taken into custody. 5. Small claims. Even in small claims court, ignoring the notice can lead to a judgment against you that the other side can still try to collect. The bottom line, the type of case matters, but ignoring the notice almost never helps you. Here's the practical action plan. 1. Do not ignore it. Open it and read everything carefully. 2. Mark the deadline on your calendar immediately. 3. Decide whether you need help. Options include hiring a private attorney, contacting legal aid or a free legal clinic. 4. File a response if required. 5. Show up to any scheduled hearings. 6. Keep copies of everything. 7. If the deadline has already passed, act quickly. Here's the truth. A court notice is not a suggestion. It is the start of a legal process that will move forward with or without you. Ignoring it usually means you lose the chance to tell your side of the story and the other side gets what they asked for by default. And if you're currently facing a court notice, don't wait. Look at the deadline today and take the next step. I'll see you in the next video. Protect yourself and don't ignore the notice.